In the interest of making things simple, we have made a base and one end and one side. What do we need a duplicate of? Perhaps another side. So instead of just selecting a face and duplicating it, we want to select the whole body. So go over to your body. This is why we keep this palette open. Click on it. We are going to modify / copy. Note the copy option. Okay. Create copy. Click here. Then you can use the move tool to make that copy. Right now we're in body 5. Notice it switched from body 2 to body 5. We're going to move that along our y-axis, y distance, and we want to move that 97. Whoa, yes, 97 millimeters. And we double check, and oh, look at that. It's right exactly where I want it to be. Everybody's happy. Yay, math. Okay. So that was the simplest thing ever. Let's do it again. That is body 3. Okay, body 3. Click on body 3. We click the M tool to bring, oops, nope. Although do note you could label these things, and you probably want to do that later when it gets more confusing. Body 3. We're going to hit the M tool to move. Then we're going to go back to body 3 and select it. Thank you. Create copy. That'll create, watch over on your palette, body number 6. And we're going to move it along the x-axis this time. And this one we're going to move, that's 150 millimeters long. We're going to move it 147 millimeters. Oh, yes. We are golden. Look at that. Bada bing. All lined up and everybody's happy, and there's our box. Okay, so not all that difficult. Cool. Maybe there's a chance that I want to do something, I don't know, else here with this stuff. It's possible that I want to create an angle somewhere. Yeah, this is why you guys do sketches and have a plan before you get started. Let's try this. Why not? Let's do a plane at an angle. And maybe through 2 edges? Maybe. Let's try that. Okay. So, 2 linear edges or axes. All right, we're going to go with that one. And I'm going to go through this one. May not be my best plan, but that's a thing. Okay, so I could ostensibly construct... Oh, actually, it might not be so bad. Construct another piece of wood, right? 3 millimeter piece of plywood, because that's what I'm working with, along that plane. Now that I've created that plane, I think frankly what I want to do is move that up some, but whatever. I can go back to my box. And remember, when you are going to construct something, it says, well, where did you want to put it? I want to put it on my plane. And then I can click pretty much anywhere. And I have no idea how big I need to make this, but I'm going to bring it all the way down to the corner down here. I don't know, how big is that? And we're going to bring it sideways. I think I want it... The end one was, what, 96? Maybe I want it 96? I might want it the full 100, so let's make it the 100. Why is the height... Who knows? We know we want this to be 3, right? Millimeters. So then we're going to tab down to that width. Sure. It looks... Oh, you know why? Because I've got my angle off. I'm going to have to work at that. let's make this 180 just for now, because I can fix that later. And then my height, 36, I don't think 36 is quite what I had in mind. Oh, because it's over there. Fascinating. Okay, so let's make this. What happens if I make this 100? Well, that's interesting. Wow, that's better. And then I want my height over here to be 3 millimeters. Well, now we're talking. All right, length, width, height. Let's make sure we got it all lined up. Okay, so that's not so bad. I'm going to move this around. But remember, if you see pink, it's going to cut. We don't want to cut, so make sure before you do anything, you hit new body. Bada bing. Now I can move this thing around at will. All right, so we're going to do... Okay. Now, body 7, we know is our angle. So you could do... Our first angled plane is here. Then you can find it easily. Now, I want to align that. Right? Align. I want to align... What do I want to do? I want to align this... I better zoom in. This plane. Nope. Shoot. And body from. Go back to from. Now, if you select the wrong thing, you don't have to completely start over. Just go back to from and select again. I want to select the plane and not the edge. Okay. And I want to align that to this plane so that shoves over a little bit. I'm like, okie dokie, that's better. Now, when I look at this, you can see that it does actually cover the whole thing, right? So that is a pretty cool thing. Now, it does not necessarily do exactly what I want down here because there's no place for my phone, right? So I could go back to my angled thing, and I could modify this by moving it. Ooh, XY angle. Good point. I don't know. What happens if we move it 20 degrees here? Let me zoom out so we can see what we're doing. That's not quite what I had in mind. No. So we can go back to 0. Boom. We can try this one. What happens if we do 20 degrees here? No. But that's kind of... Actually, maybe that is what I want to do, and then I'll just realign it to the edge. So I want less of a... 20 seems like a lot. I see. Okay. So, nope. How about minus 20 is up. Okay. So 40 is down. Oh, because it ended up being 400. How about minus 40? How about... So, as you can see, this is... Nope, 1,000 degrees, not what I had in mind. $10 degrees. Ah, there we go. I just wanted to shift it 10 degrees. That would make some sense. All right. And then I'm going to say OK. And then I'm going to go back and realign. What do I want to realign this edge here. All right, so modify, align. I want to put this edge on that edge. That's better. Oh, is that the one I... Well... Maybe. We'll say okay for now. Let's see how that goes. Okay. So now I have a box with an angle. I've got some extra stuff I don't really need. But things are starting to look interesting. Okie dokie. Now, I want my amp, right, to project the sound. So I want my phone to be back here on the back end. Now, this is where you get to measure your phone and decide how big it is, and therefore how big the hole needs to be. Which you can do a couple of different ways. You can do it with a sketch. We haven't talked about sketches yet, so let's try that. Or you can go back and do it again with another box, right? If you're just going to make a rectangular hole. No, let's do it with a sketch. Why not? With a rectangle and a center rectangle. Maybe. 2 points to define the center and a corner. Actually, we'll do the 2 points rectangles. That's how we've been working so far. And I want to put it on... maybe. On this plane. Now you'll notice that reoriented when I tapped on it. I'm going to go from specify size of rectangle. Okay, how big is your phone? Your phone is probably more than 3 millimeters, maybe not. But let's give it 4 millimeters, because this is not about the wood, this is about the hole. And maybe my phone is 70 millimeters wide? Depends on your phone. Okay. So we are going to specify, we're going to click return, and there we go. Now, that is not lined up where I want it. I can align that by using M for my move tool and moving a sketch. Right? Sketch object, that's what I want to move. Sketch geometry, I want to move the whole sketch. Sketch 6. There we go. And I want to move it to a midpoint of here. Let's see. There we go. So I clicked on one object with the midpoint tool and clicked on another object with the midpoint tool, so it aligned the midpoints. This is a good thing, right? So now I have my thing that's going to be a hole in a minute lined up in the center of the end piece. Now it may not be exactly where I want it, but it's pretty close and it's all lined up, so that's good. Okay, so then I'm going to stop sketch because I've made the sketch and I've aligned the sketch. There's my sketch. It's not anything yet. It's a potential something, okay? It has no height or depth or anything. It's just where that rectangle is going to be eventually. Ooh, now I'm upside down. Look at that. Huh. Let's go back to the top. Okay, so this sketch, let's say we want to modify, we want to press pull. All right, that allows us to grab, for example, that sketch, and we can go up or down or wherever we want to go with that thing. And I'm going to move it, 3/4 view. There we go. Now, the up or down on this thing, here's the interesting bit. Because I placed it on a plane, it's going to cut through on that plane. Now, given that you would be cutting through the board flat in the laser cutter, this is actually the most accurate way to do this. And we know that we want to just go through the silly thing down. You could tell it 3 millimeters, that'll be fine, but you can also push it more than that, right? And it's pink, and I'm going to go back to the top so you can see that a little bit better, right? And over here, it wants to cut because we just went through something. Now, if you got a little too ambitious and kept going down too far, you'd cut through the bottom too, which is not what we have in mind. So make sure if you do use that sort of yank on it until it's far enough, you don't go too far. Now, I'm going to cut here, hit OK, bada bing. Now I have a slot for my phone, right? And I have stuff going on here. Now, I can't really see what's going on inside my lovely little amp here. So the next thing we're going to do is render this thing in a material that lets us see what the interior spaces are going to look like. Okay, so let's see. Actually, tell you what, I'll do that in the next screencast. We'll do rendering in the next one. I want to do one more thing because I want to put some holes here, right? I want to... Oh, I could do this in a bunch of different ways. I'm just going to use a cylinder for now because I can. And I'm going to select a plane or a face. I'm going to put it on this end here. And then I'm going to do... I'm just going to click. Okay, and we're going to specify the diameter of the circle. Let's make it fairly small. In fact, let's make it, what does 3 millimeters look like? Not so bad. It's the same width as the sidewall. It'll have some uniformity to it. That's not so bad. I'm going to hit return. Okay, 3 millimeters, 3 millimeters. Everybody's happy. It wants to give it a thickness. Now, if you make it a positive thickness, it's going to come out. If we make it a negative thickness, you're going to cut. Now, you have a couple of options. If you want to leave all your circles in so you can see what kind of a pattern you're creating, that's one option. If you want to keep making these over and over again individually, then you could do cut. But I'm going to do this new body for a second and say okay. All right. Now, if we were to look down in here, you would see that this thing is poking down inside. Whatever. Go back to here. We should see it. Yay. There it is. Now, remember the move copy option? Move body 8. Select body 8. Oh, I don't want to select a sketch. I want to select body. Body. There we go. Select body. Now I can go back to my body 8, select it. Remember create copy? Aha! Now we're going to create a copy of it. We're going to move it on the z-axis. We're going to move it down 6 millimeters. Right? Cool. Boom. Now we're starting to see that we can make a pattern here pretty easily. Now, your body 8, body 9, how many of these holes are you going to make? Probably a lot. It's just going to take a little while. But if we, let's select this, move, copy, z distance, 6 millimeters. Okie dokie. There's another one. Oops, I moved it up 6. Not what I had in mind. Move again. I want to move it down 12. Ha. Okie dokie. Body 10. Move. Minus 6. Right? Oops. We forgot to copy. So you can see how, like, this could take a minute or two. We're going to copy, and we're going to move this up 6, because I moved the other one down 6, and there's my extra. Okay, fine. There. So you could take all 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's see. I think we can do this. Maybe. New component. Ha. New component. From those 4 bodies. Okie dokie. Maybe. Construction component. I wanted them all together. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Can I move them all together? I think I can. 4 selected. I could probably do that from the bodies too, but either way. I want to move those down how far down do I want to go? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do minus 30. Yeah. Except I wanted to create a copy. Did I get to create a copy? No. Cancel. Create a copy. Then move them down. Minus 30. Do I want to go 30 or do I want to go 24? Let's look. Oop, should have done 24. Oh well. I could do 2 stripes this way. So then you can make another component, make copies, move them across. Let's see if we can do this just with the bodies themselves. Maybe. Those are those. Move. Not faces, components, bodies. Try bodies. Oh, turns out we can. Create copy, and I want to move these along the x-axis. 6 millimeters. All right, so you could make that, and then you could go back and select them all. I did that with bodies, and you could then modify, combine, and instead of joining, we can use them to cut, and there are your holes. Oh, it didn't cut. It should have cut. Should have cut. Oh, I didn't tell them where to, oh, they cut each other. Not useful. Okay. Modify, combine. Your target body is the thing that you are cutting. Body 6 and all of a body. Your tool bodies, on the other hand, are what you are cutting with. Tool bodies are going to be these little guys. This guy, hold the shift key down, that guy, that guy, that guy. Fine. There. Okay, so there are my holes in my amp because I want that nice wooden piece in the front with the holes in it. So that could take you a couple minutes. That's an option. All right. One other thing while we're here, I don't really want the top of the box, the excess tall parts. So I can split a body. The body I'm going to split is this one. And the splitting tool is going to be this plane. Let's see if it worked. That plane, yes. I want to make sure I got that top surface. That's what I want. And we want to extend that splitting tool so it's big enough to split the entire plane, right? Do. And we say, okie dokie, thanks. And now we could ostensibly select this body, new body, whole body, not just the face. And we can, first of all, we could just blink it. If you're not sure, you're like, did that work? Do I like it? I don't know. You don't have to get rid of it right away. You can just like make it not visible. You could go back at some point and delete that body if you needed to, but at least this is letting you see sort of how that's going to work. Okay. Now we can do the same thing to this guy. We can modify, split body. We're going to select this body to split. We're going to select a splitting tool that is the top face of this. We're going to extend the splitting tool so it's big enough. We're going to say, okie dokie, thank you very much. Then we can, body 17, blink that. Things are looking pretty good here. So again, same thing. Modify, split body, split this, select a tool, yada yada, okie doke, skippy. Then we go here, and we get you out of the way, and things are good. One more time, or yeah, maybe I needed that little, I don't know if I need that overhang yet or not. I'm trying to decide. So I could also split that, and if I decided I wanted to keep it, I could flip it upright, I could put it somewhere else, all kinds of options. But this is starting to look like something we could probably live with for our phone amp. In the most basic sense, this is really not a very interesting phone amp. This is not what you want. This is just me making demo screencasts in a very quick way. So I should probably stop this one and do the next one where we can talk about rendering so you can see what's going on in there. So basic construction, splitting a body, doing angles, creating planes. You got it. On to the next thing.